we are going to enter into an experiment of precognition. That is predicting the future. You all know from yesterday until today, sitting over my right shoulder is an envelope suspended by a holder, and inside is a playing card that I put in there yesterday. My goal, my task is to be able to predict the future here today. And so that is what we are going to attempt to do. Andrew, you brought a box of cards out of a drawer and you have them. Those are your cards. I have no idea the order of those cards. I am going to ask you to mix that order up even more, if you will. I am going to ask you, please, to shuffle up those cards face down so none of us know what's in those cards. And I dropped my pen, so I'm just going to pick my pen up. Thank you. So you've shuffled up the cards, and I'm just going to ask you to mix them again. And then once you feel they're thoroughly randomized and mixed, I'm going to ask you, please, to deal face down onto the table in front of you 8 cards. Have you deal down 8 cards and then take the rest of the deck and put it aside so that the 8 cards that you dealt down, you don't know what those 8 cards are, and we certainly don't know. And so I'm going to ask you now to put those 8 cards into the palm of your hand without me seeing them. So they're outside of the, yes, put them in the palm of your hand. They're outside the side of the camera. And now what I'm going to ask you to do is mix those. Just kind of mix those in your hand. So those are totally randomized. We have no idea what those 8 cards are, and we certainly cannot know their order. Now I want you just to leave that packet in the palm of your hand. And now what I'm going to do is ask you to just pick up, without showing us, the top card on the packet. Look at it, memorize it, put it right back down. Okay? So you've got a card. And now, Jenna, I'm going to ask you, please, to provide for Andrew any number from 1 to 10.
Number 8.
Okay, number 8. What I'm going to ask you to do, if you will, Andrew, starting with the top card, putting the cards to the bottom of the packet one at a time, I want you to count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Reversing the cards, okay?
All right.
And then I'm going to ask you to do it again. Let's randomize them more. Let's reverse the cards more, counting 1 to 8. And once you're done, I just want you to say, I'm done.
All right. I'm done.
Now what I'd like you to do is take those cards, and I'm going to have you deal out 2 rows of cards. I'm going to have you take those cards in your hand and deal 1, 2, 3, 4, moving from left to right for the top row. And then I'll have you take the rest of the cards and deal below that 1, 2, 3, 4, so that those face down cards. Very good. And now you, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, we don't know what the cards are. You know one of those cards, and you know that's the card you selected. They're still face down. I'm going to ask you, please, to go to the top row. I'm going to have you go to the face down card on your extreme right. Okay? I don't want you to show it to us, but I just want you to pick it up. I want you to look at it. And as you concentrate on it, Andrew, I'm going to tell you that's not your card, and you may discard it. Am I right?
It is not. It is not my card.
Very
Correct.
good.
Yes.
Now I want you to go to the bottom row. And to the extreme right, I want you to pick up that card. And you look at it, don't show it to us. Andrew, that is not your card, so I want you to discard it as well. Now I want you to take the cards in place and turn them all face up in place where they are. And now I'm going to ask you to look at your card. You see it. And I want you to take your card and trade it with either the the card next to it, the card that's either to the left of it or the right of it, I just want you to trade those two cards in place, okay? So you'll switch places with those two, and you've done that, yes?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you, please, the top row, if you'll just call off those cards one at a time.
Read them out to you.
Yes, out loud to all of us.
We have the 3 of spades,
Yeah.
2 of hearts, and 2 of clubs.
Very good. Now I'm going to ask you, please, to read off all of the cards in the third row.
Okay.
Or the second row, the
Second
bottom
row.
row.
Okay. The queen of clubs, 6 of hearts, 7 of hearts.
Okay. Now what I want you to do is to think of your card. And none of us know what your card is. You shuffled a deck. You then dealt down 8 cards. You shuffled those 8 cards. You then looked at one and memorized it. You then dealt cards into 2 rows, and we discarded 2 cards, and then you changed the order of the cards in those rows. Now I want you, without showing it to us, I want you to pick up your card. Don't let us see it, and just hold it. Because now you'll notice here, the envelope behind me has a card in it. And I'm going to pick up that envelope that's sealed. And you can see that it's been sealed since we began. And what we're going to do is, I want you, please, to think of your card, because I am going to reach in here. And I am going to remove your card from the envelope. And now, this is the card that's been there since yesterday. I'm going to ask you, if you will, to please, as you pick up the card showing the back to us, now I'm going to ask you, please, to take your card, turn it face to us, and tell us what your card is.
Got it. 2 of hearts.
And in fact, the card that's been in the envelope since yesterday is also the 2 of hearts. Precognition, being able to foretell the future. Thank you all very, very much.